Hi, it's Chuck from Dig Garden Shop, and what we're going to do today is add orchids to our terrariums. We've already started earlier in our shows. We had a terrarium built, basic terrarium built, and what we're going to do is add an orchid to this. If you've got the space, it makes orchids are very tropical. They like the jungle feel. So a terrarium is a perfect environment for them, and they'll last even longer than they will in the open air. So what we're going to do is, orchids usually are very tall, so what you do is find one that are mini orchids that are grown just for this kind of condition, where this whole size will fit so nicely into a jar situation. So what we do is just basically take it out of its small container. Now, everyone thinks orchids like lots of water, but that's not really the case. Orchids don't like to sit in water. They like to be well drained. This one has been done in moss, and it really is dry. What we do with our orchids, even this size, is we water them with 3 ice cubes a week. This just seems to be the best way to a slow drip system. You just place the orchid, wherever it is. This one won't be this case, but on a regular orchid, all you would have to do is add 3 ice cubes to the soil here. Let that soak in, and that's all for 1 week. So they don't want to sit in moisture. So the way I'm going to avoid this damp situation here is by adding bark, which is just orchid bark. Now bark, as nice as it is, it doesn't absorb water. It's just more of a medium, so that if surrounded by this bark, there's moisture that comes through the soil but doesn't touch the actual roots. One other point I'd like to make on orchids: many people think these are roots that need to be buried. These are air roots, so they need to be out into the system. These are part of an orchid's life. So my thought is to go down here, and we're going to line it with this bark. And all this is doing is like keeping a moisture barrier. Pushing that around, making its nest, so that all of this terrarium moisture is only on the flower part, not on the root part. Placing that in our hole, turning it so it's at its best, and then taking more bark, and not soil in this case, because we do want the air to be around it, and filling that area in around the orchid with bark. Once your orchid is planted, it's added this really nice bright spot into your terrarium, up tall like this, putting the lid on it, creating that ecosystem. And another part of the orchid, depending on the color you choose, it's really great because you've picked up a color that we have already put in this terrarium, this pink Photonia. Another way to create a terrarium effect for your orchid is by simply having a bell jar, or a cloche as they call these, having a surface in it where it becomes underneath the bell jar, like so, creating the environment and that moisture level that is very much like a terrarium.